Hi everyone, it's the EnglishSimmer here, and if you've loaded up your game recently or loaded up Sims Twitter, you might be panicking a little bit. Your heart might be going pitter-patter, I feel sick like I could throw up, because there has been some news, and I do feel like it can be quite scary when you just see little tidbits of information, so you're kind of hearing like people's different thoughts on it and like what it actually means, and people are reading into it, but don't worry, I am here to quell those worries of yours. Today, we are going to be talking about the news that came out recently that you have to update your Sims game. This is a pop-up that actually occurs before you click anything. I don't know if everyone has got this. Obviously, you're only really gonna see this if you load up your game, but it says update your game, and it feels scary because it is all in red, but it says due to ongoing maintenance of EA app, older versions of the game will become incompatible after June the 10th. Update before then to keep launching your game normally. Now, before this was actually implemented into our games, before I even started to see this pop up, EA Help actually tweeted out back on Tuesday, Simmers, make sure to update The Sims 4 before June the 10th. Any version of the game before the latest update won't launch or work with the EA app. This is part of ongoing maintenance for the EA app. And people were kind of getting a hold of this. There was a little bit of misunderstanding, which to be fair, it wasn't like 100% clear. The way that I read it initially is the way that it was meant to be taken. And it basically means if you don't update your game by June the 10th, it won't launch actually on your PC if you are using the EA app. Now, obviously the EA app has come out for both Mac now, and it is working on Windows. So we don't really know why this is happening. It could maybe have something to do with like the DirectX 11 port that they just put in. It could have something to do with the fact that this is now on Mac and they actually need to bring some updates to the EA app because it's now on Mac and Windows, and apparently it hasn't been working that well on Mac from my girlfriend's own experience. It could be because people have like much older versions of the game on their PCs. A lot of people tend to play offline, especially when they have a lot of mods in their game, especially if they have mods and custom content that haven't been updated for the latest patches. They kind of stay a couple of like updates behind so that it's not actually affecting their gameplay that they've been working on, and they could just be getting overloaded with bug requests saying like, hey, I have this issue in my game, and they're like, oh, we actually fixed that like a couple of patches ago. So I wanted to make this video just to make sure you were all clear. They then sent out an update saying you can access the EA app and update your game after June the 10th. Don't think that if you don't update it before June the 10th, you can like never update it or never play The Sims 4 again. That's absolutely not what they meant. They meant if you want to carry on playing it on June the 10th, you can update it like now to be prepared. Obviously, if you haven't updated it by June the 10th, it won't launch, but it will obviously like prompt you to be like, hey, in order to play The Sims 4, you need to update your game to the latest patch. When they reference the latest patch, it's the one that just came out before the kits. 28th of May. If you have the patch that came on the 28th of May, if your game is already updated to that point, then you are absolutely fine. This is now getting even more confusing because yesterday they just released an e-patch which actually addresses a last exception error that resets Sims during pool interactions, a reported crash in the DirectX 11 preview, and login reward issues. Basically, they patched out the glitch to actually get those reward things by going through like all the colors. There was a way that you could do it on the game's filtering system. Obviously, because that patch isn't the patch that I just talked about that was released on the 28th of May, it was actually released on the 6th of June. I was like, is this the update we need to have for the 10th, or is it just the previous one? And they responded, this is an e-patch that resolves in-game issues with Sims 4, including items like the last exception, etc. Regarding the EA app's maintenance, if you've updated your game over the past week, you will not run into any issues launching launching Sims 4 through the EA app. So I'm gonna hazard a guess and say the May the 28th one, even though it was like 2 days before a week, I'm still gonna assume that that is still a patch that is gonna run fine. But just to be on the safe side, I mean, even if you hadn't updated to that patch, you now need to update to this patch. Obviously, you have to have internet connection to be able to do the update. This is a one-time occurrence and you should be able to play offline after updating and launching the game. So you need to update it, you need to launch it once after you've done the update, and then you can go back happily to playing in offline mode. It's not very often, honestly, that EA and Sims themselves are like, hey, we need everyone to be on this version. Usually they will give people the option to continue playing offline. Most of the time, the EA app doesn't work 100% offline. You kind of have to log in like every single time and then go into offline mode, which honestly just defeats the purpose. So with it being a one-time occurrence, you have to do this to be able to continue on playing. You don't have to do it before the 10th of June. If you can't get to your PC on the 10th of June, don't worry. You could come back 4 months down the line. If you don't load up Sims 4 very often, but every so often you're like, I want a brain rot Sims time where I play Sims for 24 hours and then never pick it up again for the other 4 years, that is absolutely fine. 4 months down the line, you can still update your game. It just, when you go to launch it, it won't launch because it'll be like, you still need to update your game. I just wanted to make everyone aware of that. I definitely have seen a lot of, not even fear mongering, that's not what I want to say. It's just misunderstanding, which is fine. It wasn't that clear from the very beginning, like what actually needed to happen. And then obviously EA Help understood that and they clarified it for people. The Sims Direct Communications, which I hate how like spread out this is. I always talk about how like diluted news is for The Sims 4. That's why I like making videos like this, because I'm like, at least it's in this one space and I try to get all the information necessary. They also tweeted out, as part of EA App's maintenance, please update The Sims 4 by June 10th. If you've updated the game in the past week from the 28th of May, feel free to disregard. If you had that pre-kit update, you're fine. If you have not, please do so to avoid any issues launching Sims 4. Sims 4 has no plans to require future updates to play the game. So this is the exact same way as it's always worked. You just need to update it this one time and then you can go back to playing it in offline mode. However you usually handle Sims 4 patches and updates, you can continue to do that. After June 10th, players will still have access to the EA app and will be able to update The Sims 4 with no issue. Once updated, you will be able to hop right back into Sims 4. And they actually have full-on instructions on how to update. I'm sure a lot of people who are watching this video now are completely used to updating their games, but not everyone is, so I'll link that down below as well. Also, keep in mind that the EA app is new to players on Mac. Like, they've been using Origin, even though Windows moved over like a year ago now. Just make sure you're logged in to the EA app, open your library, click on The Sims 4. I don't know why it just says The Sims. Click the update button. The button will only show if there's an update available. Once the update is complete, the play button will reappear as normal. Hey, at least the new update means that I get to show you what it looks like when an update is required. So it will just say Sims 4 update required. And then if you click on The Sims 4, it will also say update on this little blue button, or you can choose to update it using this little side one. Obviously, this is a very short video. I just wanted to make you aware that this was happening because obviously not everyone is loading up The Sims 4 right now, so you're not going to see it on your home screen, and also not everyone is following everyone on Twitter and all the different accounts that they have over there. Don't feel like you have to update it by June the 10th. That is not the case, but after June the 10th, if you then go to load up your game and you're not updated, you will have to update to be able to play it. It just simply will not launch if you choose to miss this update. Now, obviously, that could mess with some mods. Just be careful. I do feel as if they're going to have an awful lot of EA Answers HQ stuff to deal with after people update, because whenever a new update comes out, a lot of bigger mods do actually have issues. So what I usually do is I take out my mods. Usually I will leave my custom content in. Obviously, I back up my game files before every single update. The three most important files that you need to back up are your saves, your tray files, and also your mods. I have videos where I go over backups in detail, so I will link one of those probably up here at the end of this video as well if you need to go check out how to do that. I would always say back up your game files just in case anything does go wrong. You want to have your saves available, you want to have your custom content available. You don't want to just do a fresh reinstall, or else you could potentially lose everything if you haven't backed up. But what I usually do is I will take out the specific mods, like the script mods that I have. I will take them over to my desktop, and then I will cross-reference basically every single mod that I have in that list, which given isn't very much. I don't play with an awful lot of mods within my game. And then I'll go on Google, I'll type in the mod, I'll see if there's an update, or I'll see if it's compatible with the latest update and doesn't actually need to be updated. I will download the new version, drag it back into my mods folder. Bada bing, bada boom. It's as simple as that. Obviously, if some mods are outdated, if the creator isn't currently like updating them, you may just have to delete them because they could cause issues with your game and the latest updates. But unfortunately, that is the risk we run with downloading mods, and obviously creators being their own people and having lives and things of that nature. But I don't feel like a lot of the big mods that people play with are gonna be affected by this, because most of them have an active creator behind them and do get updated very, very frequently. For example, I know UI cheats and more columns mod and things like that are all okay within my game, so they should be okay within yours. Thank you all so much for tuning in. I hope this video was helpful. I think I've gone over everything, but if you do have any specific questions about this, if maybe I was a little bit unclear, I didn't mean to be, but if you have any concerns, questions, leave them in the comments down below, and I will try to get back to you as soon as possible with as much information as possible, as concise as possible. But don't panic, you'll be able to play the game. This has been a PSA, and I will speak to you all in the next one. Bye now.